Yeah, so frying pans 101. This is a Faberware pan. I don't have anything against the Faberware company. Um, I'm sure they're great. Until you realize that you're getting black crap in your food. Let me zoom this in right here. You see that? Those are dings and dents. Um, they're scrapes and scratches from use. Now, Faberware would probably get on here and say, well, you're using the wrong spatula, lols. A lot of the spatulas I use are wood.
We are unavailable to take your call. Please leave a message. Thank you for calling.
A lot of the spatulas I use are wood. And the one metal spatula I use it on the cast iron more than I do anything else. And that's usually only when I'm flipping eggs. So, we're going to do some research right here, live and in person, about a couple of different things. We're going to look up the specifics of this pan. And we're going to start where I bought it. In fact, I'd argue probably where a lot of people buy a lot of their stuff. There it is, right there. Okay. So this is the Faberware non-stick skillet. This is the square skillet. Griddle. My bad. Heavy duty aluminum, blah 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 blah. Okay, so as someone who has done some metalworking, I can tell you as a matter of fact that there's no such thing as black aluminum. So this is definitely a coated material. They do not tell you what the nonstick material is. But Teflon. This is a Teflon coated pan. Okay. So, when you're scrolling through, you see a lot of questions about whether this stuff is safe. But let's take it from the top at Teflon itself. So, non-stick pans, are they safe? But we'll go back to that here in just a little bit. Now, it says the FDA approves them as safe food processing equipment. I don't know. There's something about having little black flakes of chemical BS getting into my food that doesn't really sound too safe to me. Let's see. Concerns about Teflon. PFOA is a risk factor for health conditions like chronic kidney disease, liver disease, thyroid disorders, testicular cancers, low birth weight, and infertility. Most manufacturers assume that PFOA burns off during the process of manufacture, but traces of PFOA were still found in some Teflon coated cookware. A 1999 study found that 98% of people in the US had PFOA in their blood. This was due to an environmental exposure to the chemical. As a result, the US EPA put up a program to eliminate the use of PFOA by 2015. Another concern was related to the use of Teflon coating, as the particles of PTFE may flake off from the cookware with Teflon coating, but they do not cause any harm when ingested. Okay. It doesn't have any general health risks according to WebMD. Which I know, WebMD, right? Okay. Well, let's go down to America's Test Kitchen. And see what they say. I'm going to skip the introduction to what PFAS or forever chemicals are, and we're going to get down to the questions. How bad are these chemicals for you? Do you need to stop using non-stick cookware? They spoke with the FDA, the EPA, and the Michigan State Center for PFAS Research to learn more. What are PFAS? PFAS are actually a large family of synthetic chemicals. There are many different versions of it, but they are all categorized by a strong carbon-fluorine bond. Emphasis on strong. PFAS make these products slippery, non-stick, or resistant to water, oil stains, or even fire. Many of these chemicals have that strong chemical carbon-fluorine bond and don't degrade easily in the environment, hence the common name forever chemicals. Are they bad for you? From what I remember reading in other articles, there's not really a lot of research into this subject. However, because of their widespread use and their persistence in the environment, PFAS are found in the blood of people and animals all over the world and present at low levels in a variety of food products and in the environment. Not only are PFASs, sorry, that's probably is the plural of it, my God, in pretty much every human body and animal in the world, but they build up in our bodies over time. Studies have indicated that the higher your exposure to PFAS, the greater your risk of various issues, including some cancers, infertility, immune system dysfunction, and liver disease. Let's see, that's why I like using cast iron. I've always liked using cast iron. The two best study PFAS, PFOA, and PFOS have been phased out of use, at least in the United States, but many others exist and remain in use, and the health effects are less well known. How worried about this should I be in my cookware? PFAS is famously the chemical that is used to make non-stick cookware. Not yeah. Also, conventional non-stick cookware is known is made with a PFAS called PTFE, polytetrafluoroethylene, also known as Teflon. In the past, PTFE was produced other to help another PFAS called PFOA. But studies clearly link PFOA to health risks specifically, so this specific chemical was phased out in 2014. So that chemical is no longer a thing, but now PTFE is produced without PFOA. But non-stick cookware still contains other PFAS. Forever plastics, basically. Or forever chemicals. So, is using non-stick cookware harmful? Not necessarily, according to the FDA. The FDA is unaware of any research that demonstrates the use of authorized PFAS substances in cookware presents a safety concern for consumers. Now, Dan Jones of Michigan State University, I believe I have that right. I know I just read it, but my brain can get scrambled sometimes. Yep, Michigan State University. Jones agreed with this, saying that there is no findings because there really hasn't been a whole lot of research on the matter, basically. Effectively, is what they're saying. So, because they can't figure out that there is any research, they're basically saying it should be okay. I don't know. I kind of feel like the back when the FDA said that cigarettes were safe, and were also saying that you should, back in like the 1920s and 1930s. Kind of getting those vibes. In everything we do, there's no such thing as zero risk. Everything we do exposes us to chemicals and may be harmful. That is true. That is true. Okay, so here are the guidelines for that. Don't use metal utensils on them. Duh. Don't broil or use non-stick skillets on temperatures above 500 degrees. Well, I'm not going to put this pan anywhere near an oven because it has what feels like a very plastic handle. Don't heat an empty skillet. Okay. This one is one that I am definitely guilty of. I am willing to acknowledge that I will heat this skillet up before I put my hash browns in it in the morning. Other non-stick alternatives. You have ceramic skillets, carbon steel skillets, and cast iron skillets, which are my favorite. Properly seasoned cast iron skillets can be quite non-stick. They lack chemical additives and are the most durable option on the market, reset wrapping or other resisting warping, or other damage. The downsides is they're quite heavy. Yes, and because of that, there's usually an extensive shipping price tag attached to them as well. So, we could have the argument back and forth about these skillets. I bought this to replace the older version of it that I had. That I don't think was a PFA, well, not the PTFE version of it. I'm pretty sure it was too new for that. Here's my problem with this pan. You can't see it too well on the camera. Well, maybe you can. They warp, okay? And that has to do with the elongated use. I've had this pan for almost a full year now. All metals, when you heat it up and cool it down, unless it's like really strong stuff like cast iron or some sort of ceramic material. I'm not sure if ceramics are resistant to warping, but all metal pans eventually can get warped. My problem with this is that when you have a black coating, for example, this piece that I'm actually pulling off right now, yep, right there. I don't know if you can see the little black dot on the tip of my thumb. That tells me that this pan is toast. I will not be buying any more of these black coated pans ever again, and I don't care really what the research says. Because in my mind, if I'm cooking for other people, I don't want bits of chemical garbage from some manufacturer in it doesn't say Mexico, China, or wherever, even Japan, or even here in the US for that matter. I don't want that stuff getting into my family members' foods. I wouldn't even want it getting into my dog's food. Are you nuts? So, when I start seeing these little silvery ding marks in the middle of my pan, and little black things sticking up in the middle of the pan, it's time for this pan to go bye-bye. Now, to be fair to Walmart, this is not a Walmart issue. This is a Faberware issue. Or Farber. Sorry, I'll probably never get their name right. Now, as they said, let's look up some alternatives. Okay. Non-stick, non-stick, non-stick. Oh, look at that. A big old cast iron one. I'm not so sure my burner system on my stove would appreciate me using that too much. You could go round. Okay, now let's bounce over to here. And we'll click on the cast iron button. Okay. So yes, it's about a good $10 to $20 more expensive than the Faberware. But there's something about this that you really ought to know, and that is cast iron. You can throw that thing into a fire pit and still cook with it. Now, for whatever reason, this square seasoned skillet was not available at my Walmart. Probably because it was sold out or my store just doesn't carry it. We did have the round options, including this $25 one that was reduced down to $19.90. Year before I was born. So, there are obviously alternatives even on Walmart.com or at the Walmart store. Now, I had hesitations about the ceramic one, but according to what I just read, okay. I needed to it's acting like I'm clicking on something. Okay. Material. Now, we did have a ceramic option. And I was concerned because I did not understand how this worked. Now that being said, no, the dog's at it again. He'll be all right. Hey, enough of that. Now it says it's suitable for gas, electric, halogen, and or ceramic, not for induction cooktops. Now we don't have an induction cooktop. We have just a good old like electric coil burner, unfortunately. Now my interest in this was more, would it be safe on like an open fire, because like I use a grill and I have a little butane gas cooker that we use when the power goes out. And I do say when, because when you live in Maine, you know that the wind is the wind, and they don't exactly do the best job at removing tree limbs from around the yeah. Let's see. Doesn't have PFAS, PFOA, lead, or cadmium. Well, that's good. Those last two are really good. Which, okay, that's a typo. That no toxic fumes. Okay, so no toxic fumes will release even when accidentally overheated. Okay. Diamond infused coating. Great heat conductor, the hardest natural material on Earth. Diamonds added to our ceramic non-stick coating makes our pans a step further, 5 times harder coating. Metal utensils have found their match. This pan won't scratch. Wow. Ten times longer lasting, more durable than traditional non-stick. Blue Diamond is your partner in the kitchen. 4 times better heat transfer. Okay, that's interesting. With a quick and even heating, say goodbye to cold or hot spots. Okay, if that's true, that's good, because that other pan... Oh, where do I begin? Circular burner, square pan. Okay? All the heat is in the middle of the pan. Don't think I really need to say more than that. So I think what I'm going to do is next week, I will go up, excuse me, and we will try this diamond plated flat pan. And I will see for myself. I'm skeptical about anything with that little red label on it. As seen on TV has me scratching my head about whether I can trust it or not. Okay? Every time I see that, I think, oh my god, it's another gimmick. But let's go, now that we've done the Walmart thing, let's go outside of Walmart's control. Let's go to Amazon. Okay? Because they sell cookware too. I'll learn how to spell first off. Okay, so they do have the good old Farberware, you know. Oh, wow. Their Lodge is cheaper than Walmart's. Huh, that's funny. Oh, excuse me. Rachel Ray. Oh, I saw my first Babish pan at my Walmart today. I was very amused at that. It wasn't super expensive. We just kind of had to cut down on how much we were spending today because, got to make it through the week. So, I mean, yeah, you can see that there's like a ton of options for these. They even have a good old Chef's Secret stainless steel one. Oh, man, you want to talk about something that sticks. But there again, put enough oil in a pan. But yeah. So I think as a personal thing, I think I'm going to stick with this. Yeah, we have a kind of an expansive chart or cart. And the the Harry Potter outfit was her idea for Halloween. I'm not really into that. In fact, actually, there you go. Now, on the note, there's another type of pan that I'm interested in as well. Carbon steel. Huh. So I'm sitting here looking at the bottom of his pan and I'm looking at all that scoring. Yeah, that's a little concerning. But I will take a further look at that later. Um, so kind of use your own judgment. Me personally, I'm probably not really going to be using that pan anymore. Um, Nor do I really, could I possibly, in good conscience, personally recommend the use of said pan. But I think from now on, we're going to be looking at. We're definitely going to be looking into cast iron cookware. I think that would be a pretty interesting thing to invest in, and should be done either cast iron or high carbon or some sort of carbon steel, uncoated from now on. But I think that's gonna wrap it up. I seriously doubt we'll be doing too many more of these, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Again, this is not a degradation of the Farberware brand. I'm sure they're great. That most of their stuff is great, but this is like the third one of their flat square pans that I've owned, and it's been warped or just been beat. It just can't. It can't hold up to what I put my pans through apparently. So I need something a little bit better. And I'm finding that this black coating is coming off in our food, so I'm not really too big on that either. I hope everyone found this informative and has a very wonderful day. If you like the content, hit the like and subscribe button. Leave a comment if you would like to speak on the matter further.